Welcome, everyone, to our latest webinar on elevating your Zoom skills. I am delighted to have Larry and Bego Meeker with us. I can't think of anyone better in GTN to lead this webinar. They've been with GTN for a number of years. They have been doing online training for 15 years and so have developed a real serious expertise. In fact, during the pandemic, Larry and Bego ended up being the GTN go-to people on how to elevate our online training skills, and a number of other ministries and folks asked for their help. And so they're here today not just to help us master some skills better, but more broadly, to be able to help facilitate and maximize the online training that we do so that it results in deep learning and transformation. So, Larry and Bego, thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to you.
Good. It's a real pleasure to have this time with you this morning. So it will be interactive, and we're just looking forward to your ideas as we go here too, because I think we've all discovered things as we've been in this mode of having to do more work online. So our focus is simply on virtual facilitation using the Zoom platform, but somebody wrote into Craig and said, well, I use a different platform, well, is there any value in attending? And my answer was yes, because we're really coming at it from a focus of how do we enhance the learning? And you'll have to figure out the functionality of your system. We can show you the functionality today for the Zoom things we're going to chat about, but you'll have to figure that out for whatever platform that you're going to use. So it's really about virtual learning in education. And our purpose is really to be able to understand the tools and have some experience with the tools so that we can enhance the learning experience for our students. And it's not about us, it's about how do we get them to get the most out of the time that they're investing in the classes that we are teaching online. I teach a class with the Open Bible Academy every Tuesday night and have students scattered around Texas. So when you've got groups that you're working with on a consistent basis, one of the fun things is introducing them to the tools as you go so that they're better teachers and better workers in their ministries. So let's start with a couple of questions. And we're going to put you guys, we'll use 2 breakout groups and just have a few minutes of conversation about these 2 questions. There's pretty simple questions, but the first one is simply, what is the most effective Zoom tool or function that you're currently using, and why is it good? So just watch kind of your favorite and just have a couple minutes discussion with a couple other people, and then we'll come back in and share the ideas. And the second question is, okay, what do you want Zoom to do that maybe currently may or may not be available? That could shape a little bit of our discussion here this morning, but it'll just be interesting to think about future possibilities or suggestions we might make to these platforms to continue to improve the tools. I do not know what your experience has been with breakout groups. I'm going to just set this for 2, so you just have a couple people in the room with you, and the machine is going to assign you in there. If you've not used breakout rooms, you're going to have a pop-up little menu that just gives you the option to join the breakout room, and it will direct you there once you click on join. And then I will automatically pull you back in here after about 4 minutes. So it'll be a really short, quick conversation. Everybody ready?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, we'll create the groups. So it's Becca and Craig Faro and Fanny and Craig and Isaac and Tom. Here we go. And Bego will have the option to be in there with you.
Well, Craig should be in one too.
No, I'm holding him out.
Oh, okay. I'd like to hear his answers.
Here you go. You did. I forgot to set that, I guess.
I am not cool.
So,
You know that you can broadcast something.
yeah, messages.
To to groups. That was insane.
Typing, we're about to close.
You can do voice.
And typing,
What?
we're about to close. $60, and come back.
For the option of the voice. Yes. They may not read.
Right.
Wow, that was quick.
That was
Hardly had time to
time
say.
is not never our friend, you know, in classes. It's always, once I close the rooms, it gives everybody 60 seconds to come back. So
Tom, with the whiteboard, do you use like a tablet, and then you can use a pen on the whiteboard, or?
No, usually I have a presentation, and then if I make any notes, I use the whiteboard, but I can share the presentation. And so the whiteboard is just kind of a way, and I know that people can write on that whiteboard. It's not just me. You can open it up so that anybody can write on the whiteboard. I don't use that feature, but I do use the other feature of the whiteboard.
we're going to look at that today, actually, because there are some new improvements to that.
Yeah.
So let's just take a minute. I was going to tell you to select a spokesperson, but we're such a small group here. Just what were some of the things you chatted about, your favorites and things you'd like to see?
Well, I know I said that, well, Kurt and I both use just very Zoom. And then in my schoolwork, which I've now retired from, I've used, the groups a little bit, the breakout groups. But what I really love now is the AI. And as the AI companion that, will do a summary statement. And I think that's awesome. And then, Francie said that she uses the chat a lot, and we discussed how to save what's in the chat for later, and then send it to the participants if you want to. And then she also has used the translation part sometime, and we talked about how they have a translator that will translate real time with students who need it.
Yeah, we're going to look at that today, as a matter of fact. And the
Awesome.
chat room does have a lot of, and just be creative. You can use it for prayer requests, for example, and
Mhm.
send it out, or everybody can save it at the end of the meeting. And then everybody's kind of got the same set of prayer requests from the meeting.
Mm.
Great. Anybody else?
I talked about the translation feature. One of the frustrations of the translation feature is that when you assign someone to be a translator, that works great, except you can't hear the translator. So for instance, if they don't understand something that you're saying, there's no way for you to know that, at least so far in my experience. And so actually we had to turn that off and just use the translation as though I was live with a translator, where he was just translating as I was going along. We could not make that translation feature work effectively for us. So Larry, if you have some suggestions on how to do that so that we can avoid that problem, I'd be really interested to hear that.
So what we'll show today is having translation in real-time captions. So what you're speaking is simultaneously translating.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the captions. I'm talking about using a real translator. You can assign up to 5 different translations in different languages. And do you know how that works?
No, I haven't used that.
Real quickly, you assign somebody, and then the listeners will hear 15% of your voice and 85% of the translator's voice. And then the participants can choose which translator they want to listen to, depending on what language they need to hear. And that's a fantastic idea. But the problem was there was no way for the translator to tell me, to give me any feedback in real time if they didn't understand something that I was saying.
Good point. Good point. Well, hopefully they'll enhance that.
Yeah.
All right. What is there anything that's an example of the second question? They need to improve the translation. Even in the captions, it's not perfect yet. It's just,
Yeah.
but hopefully they'll continue to improve that. Any other feature you'd like to see improved or changed or added? All right, let's continue. The breakout rooms is really my favorite because it allows me to put the students to work. Often for a short period of time like this, if it's a simple question. But a week ago, in my Tuesday night group, we're studying the books of the prophets, and so I gave them a 45-minute project in short pieces, so that they could practice the inductive Bible study skills. That's what I wanted them to work at in their small groups, and it was fantastic. They really did some great work. So I just put them to work and then debriefed it kind of toward the end of the class. But the breakout rooms are very powerful, and a lot of people are not using them. That's just unfortunate.
So Larry, with the breakout room, can you go into each room
Yes, sir.
and
Yeah.
watch, or?
You can join,
Yeah.
and you can. I'll do that occasionally. Sometimes I just want them to have a private conversation. Others I want to jump into each group and just kind of see, are they about ready to wrap up or something. Now, all of these things, or several of these things we're going to talk about today, you have to set these up in your account. And so I'll show you a few of those. But this one, for example, unless you turn that tab on in your Zoom account, you won't have that option to use breakout rooms. So one of your homework things after today is go back through your account and make sure you've got the switches on in order to use these things.
Hey, Larry, one of the funny things about breakout rooms is, you know, how I was mentioning you can't keep track of attendance. One of the things that happens when you do breakout rooms is that those people who do not go to their breakout room are
You know,
probably the ones who aren't really there.
good point. All right, let's continue. So one little thing that's been added here that's kind of interesting. So this is what you see when you click on breakout rooms. You know how many people are in your group. So we're a small group, so I just set that on 2, and I let it assign it automatically. In some cases, like if you're doing breakout groups that you want to use next week you want to use the same groups, and you can assign them manually. Today in the meeting or any meeting, if you assign them initially automatically and you don't make a change, and you go back to breakout groups later, it's going to use the same groups. So that's pretty cool. But the thing they've added is you can let them choose their room. Now, when might that be a cool innovation?
Well, if you have a language issue and you've got multiple languages, you might be able to set up rooms by language.
A good example.
If they're working on projects that are unique, like to a country or something like that.
Good
You
example.
want all the people of the same country together or something like that.
Other ideas?
Or a physical meeting, the women are on one side and the men are on another side, so you can have it break out male and female.
You could do that. Yeah, you could do. There's also some in-person facilitation processes where you want people to float among tables because they're working on different aspects of a problem. And so they can get up, you kind of ring the bell or something and everybody gets up and moves. And you can do the same thing now virtually. So it's kind of a neat enhancement. So just wanted to.
Cool.
Okay, what we're going to do now is I don't know where you guys are at, so we're just going to go back and look at a couple of things we talked about in the initial training just to kind of get a calibration with you. Okay.
So we will just mention a few things that are important and that we mentioned before, as Larry said. A few things are related to pre-class items to consider, and you may want to send some troubleshooting information to the participants ahead of time. So what do you do if this happens? And I believe we have that if troubleshooting page, if any of you would want to see it. Also, we have 2 computers at the time on. So we have one on this side and then this one, because you may want to be looking at what is going on in the other, how things are broadcasting, for example. So having a second computer is very good. Logging as a participant, and then having a second facilitator or co-facilitator, and then co-hosting is also valuable. So right now, we have Craig and I as co-host. So if something happens or for different things, the other person can be helping you with certain tasks that are just available for a host or co-host. You mentioned the whiteboards, and that's something that we talked about previously and is basically for flip charting. And today we're going to share with you some advancements in terms of whiteboards and how they have different features and things that you can use to facilitate different sessions. We talked about the how you can use videos in your classes, and videos are a great way to bring things to life and to engage people. It is always very important to remember that you need to share your computer sound. So that's a best practice.
Yeah.
Your computer sound needs to be on.
If you
And share it and click the other box also. Click the other box, optimize screen sharing for video clip.
Yeah.
That's pretty important also.
So those are very important to remember that you are sharing your computer sound. So any message, any notification, any ring that you receive or a text, so you need to silence those notifications so that that doesn't interrupt.
Avoid those distractions.
Yes. One best practice that we have found is that it is important to have videos downloaded and saved on your computer, because relying on showing the videos via links or directly from the internet, it's problematic, and then you start troubleshooting in the middle of your session.
Okay.
So that's something that is important to keep in mind.
I've observed professors, for example, at BTS, where I love them, but they'll have a link to a video in their class material, and they'll lose 15 minutes trying to figure that out and to play. The class is all sitting there twiddling their thumbs, and they still can't play the video at the end of that time. So
yeah,
just have it downloaded in your machine.
Yes, and open. So all those things that you're going to share, is important to have them open on your machine, and then close many other things that you have open so that it's smoother to go from things to
everything
things.
open. And this is busy. When you click share, I try to minimize the things I've got open, just the things I need for the meeting. So this is probably not a good example.
No, and that was a screenshot that you took. Okay.
Okay, participation, and the images I'll show you, like the toolbar. This is what I just took this image yesterday, so it's what I've got on my machine right now. And the annotation bars, so those will vary a little bit from person to person, usually depending on what you as the host or the instructor have set up and what permissions that you've given them. So go ahead and open your annotation bars now, if you would. Everybody got it? I'm going to open mine as well.
You can.
I'm not seeing one. What's it called? Just
so, as a participant, if you hover over the screen, there will be a dot, a round circle with a pencil on the, in my machine, is on the lower left corner. So you click there and it
got it.
Up.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's a little round thing.
Does everybody have it open? Anybody not?
No, I still don't see what you're talking about.
Okay.
So somebody help him. One of you guys help him find that annotation button.
Move your screen where you're seeing all of us. It might be behind that. I had to move mine over to the side from the bottom. So where you see all of our images, slide that over, and mine was hidden behind that.
If I move my mouse on the bottom left corner, there's a green pencil and a block.
Oh yeah, I see that.
That's it.
Oh, never seen that before. Okay, thank you. Got it.
Some of you may have, depending on our software differences, some of you may have like 3 dots at the top, and you might click on that, and there's probably an annotation option in that as well. So everybody got it open now?
Yes.
Everybody, because we're going to use it. Okay, good. Now, I will mention that if we break out of presentation and go back into just the view that we're all together, the next time we load up some content, you'll have to open it again. So it won't stay open while it's just us in there. It's only during their presentation mode. Okay. And this is why I think you want to leave it open while there's content on the screen today is, now you'll notice there's a difference. In the previous training, there were words that described all the little icons, and now the words aren't there, so you need to learn what the icons are. But the one you may want to use today is that little down arrow. And if you click on that, anything that's on the screen, it will capture a screenshot of that, and it will automatically file it in your documents, in your document folder, down at the bottom in a Zoom folder, and it will label it by today's meeting. So you can go anything we show you today, you can just click that button and save the screenshot. Okay.
Cool.
And you select between picture or PDF.
Mhm.
And we suggest that you do that because we want you to be able to share these ideas and information with other people that you work with. So it'll be handy to have those. Okay, so, and of course, saving that depends on where the permissions are set up as usual. And Craig is drawing stuff, so he's using the I hope you guys all have experience with the drawing tools. You're going to get a chance to practice a little bit later. But anyway, the permissions have to be set. That's particularly important if you're going to have small groups doing work, and they are going to prepare a little PowerPoint or a Word file to share with the plenary class. They've got to be able to know how to save that so that they can call it back up when it's their turn to share in the full class meeting. But basically, we want you to be able to grab anything that's out there. And so I always have this turned on. Okay, what are we going to do today? That was kind of, thank you, Bego. That kind of look back, I think, is helpful, particularly to get everybody going here with the annotation stuff. But our focus today, we've just done this. We've highlighted some of the things from the previous training, but that was a few years ago. We're going to take a look at some of the functionality that has changed, such as use of the whiteboards. And we're going to consider some new things that are new innovations and nice things to have available. And then hopefully a little time at the end just to have some creative discussion about different settings. You know, Tom has already brought up one today in Africa, where we need to understand the limitations and we need to be creative in terms of how to use these things. Francie mentioned the AI. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Becca mentioned that. And we're capturing, we'll have them do a summary of this meeting at the end and we'll send that to you. So that's going to continue to be useful in some of the enhancements. So we'll generate that summary for you so you'll see what it does. Best practice, always look that over. And even if you're generating other AI reports, always review those because they're not perfect. You don't know exactly all the sources that they're pulling from. And so don't just generate a report and send it out. Make sure you take a look, particularly if you're using it to examine different aspects of scripture and so forth. You don't want to send out something that's not congruent with the scripture that your class is studying.
Larry, can I make a comment about the AI real quick?
Please.
If you have not used that, it is unbelievable. It is not just a reproduction of the dialogue of your Zoom meeting. It is a summary, meaning that it will have talking points, points of action. I mean, it analyzes the entire meeting and completely restructures it into really helpful notes. If you have not used this feature, I'm telling you, it is amazing.
It is. And
Larry, how do you turn that on? When do you turn that on?
I have it set up to turn on automatically, but there is a button on the control bar. It says AI Companion, I believe, that you can click and go ahead and start it in the meeting. Now, even things, you can easily see why there's maybe sensitive information in a meeting. If we had the time to maybe ask, well, what are your prayer requests today that we can be working on? There could be sensitive things that you don't want in that summary because you don't know who may share that summary with someone else. And so we just need to make sure we use this best practice and review this stuff. This ability to designate co-hosts is really good. We've mentioned today that Craig has set up, he's running the recording, Bego's doing some other stuff here. Just having that those assistants is great. And if you get knocked off for some reason, a power outage or something, while somebody else is set and ready to carry the ball, or at least react. And now if you don't have co-hosts or anything and you get bumped off for some reason, the system automatically selects somebody. So you may have a student out there going, oh my, it says I'm the host. What do I do? And so you probably quickly want to send a message to your students and say, hey, postpone here and I'll send you a message when things are back online. Do you see why that's valuable? Can you see the value of that? What do you think are maybe other valuable aspects of that?
There have been times where I've started the meeting because I have the license, but Subro in Bangladesh, he becomes the host and I can leave and he can finish up the meeting.
Good example, really good example. All right, I think it's valuable. It just helps us not have quite the load as the host and the instructor. Here's what it looks like. I took the screenshot right as Craig and Bego and I logged on. And so this is what it looks like. If I took the screenshot now, all you guys would be listed underneath of this. This is in your control bar. It's as participants. You can click on it now if you want, and you'll just see a list.
Larry, another thing that the co-host can do is to admit people if you have a waiting room. It's oftentimes really distracting to have to go to that to admit people back into the meeting if they get cut off, if you have a large group. And your co-host, you can assign them that responsibility to be able to bring people in.
Good point. I never do that. I never use the waiting room unless I'm instructing people in a closed country like China. Usually I just let people, I just want them to join. A lot of people like the waiting room, but for me, I'm engaging with people and I may miss the fact that I've got 3 people out there in the waiting room, but it's just a preference. So thank you for sharing that. Again, we've got the participant control panels. These will vary based on, but this allows your participants to mute, to start and stop the video, and they can look at the participants list and so on and so forth. So this is not new stuff, but it may vary based on the permissions that you set. And you can even limit who can share screens and whatnot. I normally leave that wide open because I want engagement. I want people to be able to share. And there's different things that I don't use a lot, like nonverbal icons and so forth. But again, these may vary just person to person, depending on the things that you're allowing them to do, which brings us back to this point that you've got to look in your account and see make sure you have these things set for. This is under in meetings, the basic things, and under settings in your account. You've got to have this meeting chat turned on or folks won't be able to use it. But then within that, you get to decide things like, well, who can chat? Is it just the hosts or the host and co-hosts that can talk back and forth? I love everybody to be able to chat unless some problem comes up. But you've got to make decisions about that and throw those switches that you want to allow. Captioning. So let's just stop here for just a second, and I'm going to turn this on, and we'll leave it on for a little bit so you can kind of get some experience with it and tell us what you think. So now it's going to be showing you what I'm saying, the things that I'm discussing.
Because they haven't turned it on.
You have to click on your control bar to turn the captions on.
So at the bottom, let the controls come up and you will see one that says show captions. If you don't see it, then you can click on the 3 dots that say more, and that's all the bottom where it starts audio and so forth. So you click there and you need to start the captions.
Just click on the CC in the little box there instead of the arrow.
So
now Bego should be able to see it on her machine, and she does. And each of you see, is everybody seeing it?
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
are you seeing a translation or just seeing what I'm saying?
Just
Yes.
English.
It's captioned in English.
Okay, captions in English. Now, you can change that. So what I'm seeing on my screen is the English, but underneath that in a different color is Japanese. So I want everyone to take that, the arrow now beside the caption option, and you should be able to say what your caption language is.
first you need to turn translation. No, here. You said my speaking language and then the caption language. And then translation.
So everybody pick a different language and just to see how it works.
Oh, they don't have Swahili. Oh,
No, they
shoot.
don't. There's like only 30
Oh,
languages. That was my
oh,
immediate reaction, Tom. I said, man, the one we use so much is not
yeah.
there. Everybody's seeing him now?
Mhm.
Now, where can it be? I'm going to switch the presentation back on here because there's an important question here. When might this be valuable, even if I'm an English speaker and I have an audience that basically understand English, more or less?
Well, it kind of depends on where you're from, I suppose.
Yeah, it might. I was actually surprised a few years ago. We were in Guatemala and Panajachel, and we were kind of, my mental perception was, let's just use tools we know these pastors have access to and can use. So we weren't using PowerPoint. We had a manual that we produced for them, and we were just presenting, facilitating. And they asked us halfway through the morning, they said, could you put all the things that you're talking about on PowerPoint in Spanish, because Spanish is not our first language. We have Mayan languages that are our first languages. And that was just an eye-opener for me, that sometimes just being able to see what's being spoken is a helpful tool for people who may not be very proficient in the language that you're talking in. And then I think we see the value of the translation, even though it's not perfect for some of our students that have other language backgrounds.
Larry and Bego, quick question on that captions and translations. If you click on that, is that going to show up for everybody or just on your screen? And does each person have to do that themselves?
I wanted you, what languages are you guys looking at for translation? Everybody can have a different language.
Well, I was just thinking for captions. I mean, I just looked and there's no Kinyarwanda. I don't know if there's Nepali or not, but I'm just wondering is that something that each person would do themselves, or do you as the facilitator click on it and put
Yeah,
captions on?
good question. I set it up, and that's what you're going to see unless you look at those options and change yours.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay. That's
each
good.
person has that, that capability to tailor it to their best interest.
Okay,
So
good.
from the beginning,
We're going to have to sign off now. I'm so sorry, but this has been so excellent. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll have the recording available for you, Becca.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
every person can turn on captions as they wish, and they can turn on translation as they wish in their language, to whatever language they want.
Well, that's cool. We get to set it as the host, but you guys have the capacity to tailor it to your need. And so that's pretty neat. But we do have to have it set up in our things that we turn on in our account. You actually can format it. You can change the colors, background colors, the text colors, the font size. And then if you've got it, you should still have it open. You can drag it. You can, pull it to the bottom right corner or something where it's out of the way. So those are all, it's pretty useful. But again, you've got to have the settings made. So here you'll be looking under settings in your account, and you've got to turn these buttons on. It's under advanced meeting settings, and you just got to have these turned on, and then select some languages that you want to be the default languages. Everybody see that? We're trying to let you play with the tool, but also reminding you, you've got to go turn these things on within your account in order to use them. Okay. Now the translation thing, there's a fee. It's $5 a month. So if you're not going to be doing that a lot, well, don't turn that on. I mean, you don't go add the license. I added it. I, probably not going to leave it on unless I hit a window where I think I'm going to be using it a lot. But if you're going to use it a lot, $5 a month, add it onto your license. It's not a lot. But currently I'm not doing that. So I'm going to turn it off after this session. Okay, another kind of neat thing that we didn't talk about last time.
Francie has a question.
Oh, yeah, Francie.
Yeah, is that $5 a month prorated? So like if you turn it on for one meeting, you know, then did they charge you the whole thing? Do you know? Like,
I don't know. I can't give you a positive answer. I assume probably so. There's probably a date set by which you've got to cancel in order to turn it off. So you're going to probably get charged for the $5. I'm assuming I'm going to use it one day here. I'm going to get charged the $5.
okay, yeah.
And another situation in which this might be important is, for example, if Larry and I are teaching online for a class in Mexico, and we want Craig to come and share something specific for 15 or 20 minutes, we could have that option with the captions for the time that Craig is going to share with the group.
I would spend that $5 in order to help our participants, help our students.
Mhm.
Okay, polling is an interesting option that was available in our initial training a few years ago, but we didn't really address it. We may have demoed it, but it didn't have a capability that now it has. So let's just talk about it quickly. Let's just actually do it. Let's do a poll and experience it, and then we'll talk about it. So I'm going to turn this, I'm going to launch this poll just quick. There's 2 questions, they're multiple choice. So if you would quickly just answer those questions, and then we'll walk through it. And you should be able to see those on your screen.
Participate as a co-host.
Yeah. Okay.
I might have inadvertently ended the poll.
Okay, that's what I can risk. I'm willing
Sorry
to
about that.
let you be that co-host. So that's okay. So I'm going to just pop the results up here on the screen, and you may have to scroll down to see the results for both questions, but you can see how many people voted for which choices and so forth. And then I'm going to turn it off. But I like this simply because it's another way to get quick engagement. Everybody's engaged in answering the questions, and everybody gets to see what's kind of are the opinions or the ideas in the class, and it's very efficient. Now, we didn't do it last time because there was no way to save the poll. And so, man, every time you teach that class, you have to go re-input that poll for that individual class. So the enhancement that is really valuable, if I can get it, which we tried it, and this is so you get to set it up just like you did in the past, and you'll give a title to the poll. This is important. So if you're teaching inductive Bible study, you'd have poll 1 or poll inductive Bible study 2 or something, and then you input your questions. You get to choose, is this a fill in the blanks? Is it a single choice? Is it multiple choice? And then you get to input your answers, or not just your answers, but potential choices that your students will select from. So that's how you do it. You set it up. But the really cool thing now, and of course, then we did it. So this is what I'm seeing while you're taking the poll. I see how many people have finished. I see what the choices are looking like. So I'm real time looking at you guys are answering, not by person, but kind of what's happening. So I know when everybody's done, and I can just tell this is just a screenshot. And then we looked at the results. But the neat thing now is you can have a library of these, and they're listed under surveys in your account. And so the neat thing is, I don't have to, if I teach this class multiple times, I don't have to input this again. I just have to select the previously designed poll or quiz that I'm going to use in the session. So that's an enhancement. That's a huge enhancement if you're the one setting up meetings and so forth.
And Tom, you were sharing about sometimes you don't know if they are there or not. So this
Right.
can be a way to reel people in, check how many people are there. So
Yeah.
that's an immediate way for you to get some information. And then, of course, if someone has classes where quizzes are done and so forth, this could be a way to just engage people and get immediate. Of course, not person by person, but at least
Mhm.
something.
But if you've got
Yeah,
like
good idea.
a 10-question quiz you're going to use in this class every time, man, that's a hassle if you have to set that up for each meeting, each time you're going to use that.
Yeah.
This is the little
Question, where do you actually create the poll? Is it in the surveys tab on the left there?
in your account, there's a place to go to polls. There's an option, and so you select that. You can create it.
The service.
Yeah, you can create it and save it. You can actually do it in the meeting or ahead of the meeting. If I had an idea for a poll I want to use after break or something, I could create it in the meeting. It's the same templates for adding the questions and so forth.
Okay. Thank you.
So you'll be changing that in your account under settings.
And then, Craig, because I don't know if everybody can see this, but because Craig is co-host, if you click on your the lower bar, the
Yes.
dots more, the top one should say polls quizzes. And that's for your immediate poll quiz creation. That would be the way.
All right, let's continue.
Thank you.
Okay, so we mentioned that videos can be really a good thing to bring learn to live and engage participants. And here we have
For thousands of years, every morning and evening, Jewish people have prayed these well-known words as a way of expressing.
do you get the video and the sound?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. I just asked because I have the other one muted and I didn't know. So now the enhancement is that you can play the video from your PowerPoint. Before, I had to have open the video in another place and I had to go and share another screen, which was the
Right.
video, and start the video. Now the video is embedded here. So that's something new that they have now.
That's nice. And if you've got a humongous video file, it'll take PowerPoint a while to get that integrated into your PowerPoint file. But if it's a short little video, this one didn't take very long to put in there. And it's about the Hebrew, how they interpreted the heart back in those days. So very important lesson for some leadership groups. Okay, then.
So the host security menu has been expanded now, and the host has that, and this is what the enhancement look. It is here in a bigger way. So before, you didn't have all these options during the meeting. Now, if you decide, before, everything had to be set up on your account to be able to, for example, share or start a video or request to record. Now you can do all these things from the meeting itself. So you can have those options.
Pretty neat. The only one, I leave them all open unless I'm working in a closed country, again, like China or someplace where you have to have a lot of sensitivity. But the one I don't leave open is when someone wants to record the meeting to their computer. You can ask if I will allow them to do that in the meeting, and I may or may not, depending on the content. But that's really the only one that I want a little bit of control over, because I just want people able to participate.
And then on the top, you see like enable waiting room. So
You can turn
on
that
the
on.
fly, you can turn that on if you want to do it. We don't have it. We have the password option. But if you want to do that, you can do that now from after you have started the meeting.
I've never had anybody try to break into one of my training sessions. Have you guys? Somebody that shouldn't be there?
I have, yeah,
Have you? Yeah.
yeah, a couple times, yeah.
If you've had that experience or audiences where that may be an issue, then you'd want to use the waiting room for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so other things, built-in applications. So again, you have a button that is for apps. So built-in applications can be neat if you, for example, are going to teach something about Google Drive, you go to the Zoom application marketplace and you get that application. Some applications are paid, you have to pay, but there are others that are not, or that you need an account. So for example, in Tanzania, we faced a situation in which it was important to teach the local coordinators how to use Google Drive. So if I have that app, the app works from Zoom, and I can pull that and make everything from Zoom without going back and forth, and it becomes cumbersome. There are other applications. So there are many things that you can run from Zoom without going to the place itself. So that's, and what you do is you go to the Zoom application marketplace. Of course, they don't have anything that is
No Bible
related.
apps. We looked, we couldn't find any Bible apps or anything.
So you don't have that. There is no Bible applications. So, and what we do is, if, for example, you have, you want to
use
Logos or your Bible app with the verses to show, then you just have to have that open in your machine.
All you do then is click on share and you just toggle to that. This is just Bible Gateway, and you just start sharing that. So if you were teaching about the Samaritan woman in John 4, you could look at that passage and scroll down. Everybody's sharing the passage, and then once you're done with that, you just hit share again and go back to your presentation content. It's not as slick probably as having it built in, but it works.
So
I have one co-instructor in the Open Bible Academy that he loves to share from Logos, so he uses that a lot.
Yeah. So we have 5 minutes here, honey.
Okay, we got to fly here.
Yes.
The marker boards or whiteboards have changed. And so when you open it up, it looks like this, and it looks like the old controls, but you don't just share it from your share menu. It's actually a function that's set apart, and we're going to play with it here in just a little bit. So some of this stuff looks very similar. You now have the opportunity to pick templates. So if you're going to do some flow charting with a group or something, you can actually choose a pre-prepared template that's got the different symbols and so forth. So that's pretty neat to have those different things that are kind of built in. If you want that to see that, again, the words aren't in these menu bars now. This is the one that I've circled if you want to see the templates. I didn't know what that was. I thought, wow, how did I get those up there? It sounds like a neat thing. And Bego said she played with it until she found that. Also, we're going to look at another capability where we use Post-it notes. And I want to just show you where that button will be. That's the post. That's the one to add a new Post-it note to the chart. Now, this is pretty neat. Whiteboarding, allowing everybody to add Post-it notes is really neat because you can rearrange them, you can color code them, a lot of things. This echoes what we do in the classroom. Bego is sometimes known around the world as Senora Post-it Note or Post-it Note because she's just an artist with this. You know? And so these are in Spanish. So this was, I think, in Spain. Here's Kurdish on the left and more Spanish on the right. So this is just echoing what we do in the classroom a lot, because it's very, very efficient. Everybody's participating simultaneously, and nobody's having to take the time to write every element on the flip charts. So let's just open whiteboard here. So this is just one that we were playing with, so we could do it here. What we want you to do is just add some Post-it notes. Go to that icon I showed you. It's right in the middle of that menu bar. You can add one, and you click on it. You can change the colors. You can just type right into the Post-it notes.
Larry, as the host, do you now have a separate item at the bottom of your toolbar that is whiteboard? Because like you said in the past, you've always had to go through share to get to the whiteboard. As the host, do you now have an icon at the bottom of yours, a toolbar that is whiteboard?
Yes, and that's
Okay.
where you went, and it says
It's in the
new
toolbar.
whiteboard or
Or
existing.
Existing.
So Larry had prepared this whiteboard,
Okay.
and you have to go to the Post-it note icon, and if you click there, this will the Post-it note bar will pop up, and then you select a Post-it note and drag it to where you want, and you just type inside there.
Okay.
So this is really a neat capability. It's very, very efficient, and it lets us do the same things we would do in the classroom with them. So I'm going to stop this and
Craig, your microphone is not on.
So this would be another area where the co-host would be very helpful.
yes, because the co-host can be arranging things by affinity. For example, people are
Ah,
kind of brainstorming, getting ideas down, and you can be sorting them by affinity and so forth. So you've got some groupings, and then you can use voting processes to find out what do you think are most significant and move groups of them around. It's just really a tremendous tool. And think about, before they created these, what did we use, Bego? Index cards.
Oh, yes, and a sticky wall.
Yeah, and a sticky wall. So this is
So it
Post-it
was
notes is a great
I had a
invention.
big cloth that I had to spray with this sticky, special sticky thing that would allow for the cards to just be removed and replaced.
Okay, just a quick reminder here that these permissions have to be set. So kind of your homework we'd like you to think about is after the session. You don't have to do it today, but maybe in the next couple of days, invest a half hour to go through your entire list of permissions for your account. And any of this stuff you think, yeah, I'm gonna use that. I think I may use that in the future. Go ahead and turn it on. Doesn't hurt to have it turned on, even if you're not going to use it right away. Some best practices we just want to mention real quick. Remember, we got different styles of learning preferences out there. We have those that love to hear you talk. They love to see text on a slide. And that's great. But we have others that they may not remember what Larry said, but they may remember an image and the message behind that image because they're very visually oriented. And then I love the kinesthetic. Let's do it. Let's try it. Just like we tried to kind of blend these things for you here this morning to make that point. And I love this old saying by Confucius. Why we like the variety is, for some people, what I hear, I forget. And it's interesting. Some people, if you did a survey the Sunday following the previous Sunday where a sermon was preached and asked what was preached, a lot of people may not even remember. What I see, I have a higher chance of remembering. What I do, I have a higher chance of understanding. And then our team added something to this about 20 years ago. They said, what I teach, I master. So anytime you can put them in small groups and let them present back to the class, basically teach the class what they've been talking about or learning about, you're forcing them to to deepen their understanding of the topic so that they can do a good job of presenting it. So I think it makes a lot of sense. So, you know, just if you've got your annotation bar open, any thoughts about today, the stuff we've talked about? You can, from your annotation bar, just take the text bar and just add some stuff. My keyboard never spells very well. So it's nice that usually this doesn't show anybody until you click on the board after you write it in. I have another one over here, concerns.
So if you have your annotation bar open, if you click the T, it will open, and you click on the, you have the T, and you click on the board, you can start typing.
Doesn't do spell check for me though. I misspelled concerns. Anyway, these are not new things, but still important to be able to use the old tools. Craig, we're winding down here. I know.
Great.
Prepare your students. You got to remember that you have to teach them this stuff too. If you want them to engage, you've got to show them how to use the annotation tools and so forth. It's going to be an investment of some time, but if you want them to engage with it, you've got to share with them how to do it. You see that the text that we wrote in is still there. You've also got to remember that enhancement hasn't been made. In WebEx, the things that we add in the meeting scroll with the different presentation slides. That's not true here, so I've got to remember to delete all that. You can capture it and then delete it if you want to. Additional points for trainers, you know, you've got that share button up there. It used to be you had to share, and then if you wanted to change content, you had to go back to gallery view and then do a new share. And now you just use the share button and you can go back and forth. Very, very efficient. Allows you to get from one file to another without exiting to the gallery participants. Auto save the chat. You can have that button set in your account so you don't have to worry about remembering to do it. Remember that different devices like Kurt and Becca were going to be in their car using the phone. They probably couldn't do all the different things that we were doing here. And I really recommend using screenshots rather than trying to do live screen sharing. It's just a little investment. We probably need a course in PowerPoint preparation, but there are courses available in that. But there's, I just like having the screenshots and not depending on the live functionality of the system during the meeting. It's too risky. So thank you guys so much. And we just appreciate the time with you.
Thank
Well,
you.
Larry and Bego, this has been fantastic. Thank you. It's really been helpful. We got 1 or 2 minutes left. A key takeaway for you, something that you're going to run with now that you think will really enhance the learning of your students based on what you've learned today.
The translation of captions options are so much greater now than they were, and I have not updated that. I think that'll be really helpful.
I agree
Great.
with you, Tom, because they have a lot more choices of languages now, like Hindi, which wasn't on there before. So
Yeah.
Just turning it on while you're regular teaching, and even if you have a translator, it will help the students be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm checking because I have the Spanish on and it's really good.
Mm.
Surprised.
Just to add to
Someone
that,
else?
if everybody is using Google Translate, I use it all the time now, and it is really, really helpful.
While you're doing Zoom training?
Well, I have it open in case I need to translate something. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or if somebody sends me a note in Portuguese and if I can't read it, then I'll use Google Translate real quickly to update it. I just noticed on the translation here that they distinguish now between Brazilian Portuguese and Portugal Portuguese,
Mm.
which is interesting.
I didn't see that. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a difference
I think
between.
having your phone open on signed into Zoom when you are doing a call on your computer could be super helpful, because most people sign on to Zoom around the world on their phone, not on a computer. And so
True.
if you're trying to tell them how to do something, or trying to see what they see, you can't tell them what it looks like from a computer screen. You need to be able to tell them what it looks like on their phone.
Good point.
Excellent.
Practice how like you have to connect with multiple devices and go from room to room and see what it looks like and so forth. So
Great.
I hid the captions as the host, but Bego still got hers turned on and she's getting the Spanish, and it is excellent.
Now with the translation, if I'm speaking in English and the audience are speaking in Bengali, can the system translate that so I can
No.
read those captions?
That was the problem that Tom was illuminating at the start of the discussion.
So it goes one way.
Well, but they can turn on their translating and select the language for them to read, not for the translating, but for the captions. They could
Right.
turn on their captions and select Bengali as the language, and then they could read it in Bengali. So it almost is like a translator, but they're reading it in whatever language. They just have so many more languages now that they didn't have before.
Wonderful. Thank you, Larry and Bego. You'd be open to emails, phone conversations to follow up on any of this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let us know how we.
Great. Great. So this recording will be on my website, www.craigperrow.org, and it has all of the past webinars and Zoom calls and so on the website. So I encourage you to check that out. And within a couple of days, we'll have this recording on the website as well, www.craigperrow.org. Thank you all. God bless you. Might God use this to enhance our online training for his glory and for the
Amen.
good of his
Amen.
church.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Larry. And